Hey team, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, core design engineer with Brunswick Bowling, and today we're taking a look at the new comparison chart for Radical Bowling for June, which includes the brand new Power Hitter and the brand new No Doubt Solid on it. But before we get into that, I want to remind you that our resident core designer, Steve Freshour, was on the Perception vs. Reality podcast this past week, or at least this past week as of the time I'm filming. And he had some cool tidbits about the design of the hitter core, how it compares to the torpedo asymmetrical core, and some information about the science behind his design philosophy and how he relates the RG contours back to the ball motion, and of course the mass distribution, all kinds of stuff, so make sure you check that out. And if you want more detailed information about these specific cores, I did a Radical rundown on Radical's YouTube and Facebook page that highlights both the hitter core and the original No Doubt supersymmetrical core when it came out. So those two separate videos are both available on Radical's Facebook and YouTube channels. Go find them and check them out. So because all of those videos are so readily available and so detailed, I'm just going to do a quick overview here before we jump into the chart. Starting here with the new Power Hitter, which contains the same hitter core, asymmetrical core that was in the originals. This is the 2488RG with an 053 total differential and an 015 intermediate differential. Was also in the hitter and the hitter pearl. This one, of course, has that elongated nose on the front of it that gives you the ability to hit that with your thumb with multiple drilling angles, not just one specific drilling angle. So there's a little higher post-drilled numbers after drilling with a wider range of angles. That's the nice thing about this hitter core. And it's paired with a new, very strong and very diggy cover, the HK22C, textured hybrid cover stock. C, of course, stands for cohesion, and that is our industry-leading additive that makes the ball slow down and change directions better at the back of the lane. This is the first time we've coupled this with the textured additive. The texturing additive first came up with the maximum results way back in the day for the Radical brand, and we've brought it back here in the Power Hitter to give you a little extra mid-lane traction. We'll talk in detail about the ball motion on the chart, so I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I do have a comparison to the previous hitters for all those who are interested. But we'll quickly jump over now to the No Doubt core. This is a super symmetrical core. This No Doubt core comes in at 2485 undrilled with an 051 total differential, so again, just on the early side of medium revving in terms of RG, and again, very high flare potential, not quite as high as the hitter series, but in a symmetrical package, this one's going to be more sweeping overall in ball motion. This No Doubt Solid is surrounded by one of the strongest, if not the strongest cover currently in the Radical lineup. It's the HK22C Plus solid cover stock, and the C again stands for cohesion, and this is actually a jump up from the cover stock that was on the original No Doubt, which did have HK but did not have the cohesion additive in it. And interestingly, even though this one's a solid, it comes compounded to get you down the lane better. And because of the cohesion, it doesn't skip the mid lane either. So you've got a motion that isn't terribly far from the original No Doubt, just a stronger version in the mid lane and stronger down lane too, which is a unique pairing. It's usually one or the other. Jumping over now to our comparison chart, you Radical fans will be very familiar with this chart. On the y-axis, we have oil volume from lightest on the left to heaviest on the right. And on the y-axis, top to bottom, we have response to friction with the sharpest responding balls at the top of the chart down to the smoothest responding balls at the bottom of the chart. Zooming in now on our Power Hitter, you'll notice that this is built for medium heavy amounts of oil. It's not quite as early in the mid lane, nor is it quite as sharp down lane as that torpedo core. That torpedo core plays in a similar RG and differential range. However, with that giant nose on that torpedo, you can boost the post-drilled numbers of that core a little bit stronger after drilling. But more than that, that has a little bit stronger pearlized cover on it. The Power Hitter with its textured cover stock is going to be a little bit more early in the mid lane, but the combination of the earlier mid lane cover and the shape of the core is going to lend itself to a more blending, more sweeping overall motion. And because of that, this one's not going to be quite as much down lane, but it is going to be relatively continuous for an asymmetrical ball. So if you're looking for a little more blend, a little more sweep, and a little more continuation out of an asymmetrical ball, definitely the Power Hitter is where I lean. If you're looking for a little more angle with just a little bit more strength and torque at the break point, then certainly the torpedo is where you want to go. Now, I mentioned earlier about the other hitter series balls. This is the first hitter that's got HK22 cohesion on it. The original was just the utility cover stock with no HK22 as the base, and then we took an additive package from that original hitter and we put it in the HK22 base to make HK22 utility on the Pearl, and the Pearl was on the previous charts. You can go back in history on Radical Bowling's website and take a look at that. So this power hitter is squarely between them in terms of the oil volume it can handle, but it's actually on the sharper side of the motion, closer to where the hitter Pearl was on the y-axis, top to bottom, relative to the original hitter, which was certainly the smoothest ball with utility as the base and not HK as the base. Jumping over now and taking a look at the new No Doubt Solid, you'll notice this is one of the smoother balls on the chart currently. Not quite as smooth as the Rattler series that used to occupy this area of the chart. Certainly has more differential and more ability to cover more boards with more change of direction than those balls. But relatively speaking, this is going to be a smooth, continuous, symmetrical option that doesn't get you in trouble. It is a little bit stronger overall throughout the whole belly of the lane, and I do think it has the potential to out-hook the original No Doubt, but you'll notice a familiar characteristic shape about this No Doubt Solid. You'll notice that it's not terribly far from the original No Doubt, and it's not that much lower on the chart than it either. Usually the solids are a bit further right and a bit lower relative to their Pearl counterparts with a hybrid in between, but both with the box compound and with a similar base cover, the No Doubt and the No Doubt Solid complement each other really well. Now the big difference here is the No Doubt Solid contains cohesion. Normally when you see these cover blends, you just take that same cover and you switch the Pearl additive out just to give it a solid cover stock base. But in this instance, we also added the cohesion additive, so the additive package has changed. So even though this motion has not drastically changed, you will notice this ball slow down in friction a little better and glue hug the lane just a little bit better overall than that original No Doubt. So this one's going to be better on slightly fresher, slightly more oily conditions, but more than that, I think it affords you the ability to get in and open up the lane just a little bit better and see a really similar shape that you would see out of the No Doubt just earlier in the block or on heavier conditions, without the fear of it getting too squirty or too wiggly like compounded balls can occasionally do if they are not matched up to the pattern. With this cohesion additive, that takes some of that fear away, and it makes an already predictable, smooth, and stout reaction from the No Doubt, and it kicks it up another level. That's the information I have on the power hitter and the No Doubt Solid. Now, I don't do this for Radical because I do a comparison chart video every time there's a release, but for all the other brands, I do shorts. Short 1-minute reviews on the products that are coming out. So go to Bowling Buckosh on YouTube and find my shorts tab. If the product does not contain a new core, it's just a cover refresh on top of an existing nameplate, then I will have shorts videos for that. And of course, if a new core comes out in the brands of Brunswick, I'm going to do a full-length video detailing the core cover combination on that brand new ball. So make sure you subscribe to Bowling Buckosh at Facebook and YouTube. And of course, if you have any questions about this current Radical lineup, where any of the balls would fit into your arsenal, or any questions about the Radical lineup in general, feel free to drop the comments below. I'm happy to respond when I have time. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.